see if it's working. Yes. I think we can start, right, Wally?
I don't see why not.
Maybe just say welcome and yeah, let's.
Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and kick this off. Welcome everybody to the highly anticipated.
I got the podcast instance working, by the way. I'll post a link in Slack.
Brilliant. Well, maybe we should. Do you want to wait till we all get in there, or? We can. Wait until we all go. Well, actually, it's gonna take forever for us to go and everybody to get in there, so we might as well just go. Welcome to the highly anticipated product meetup. I am Wally, your community manager, as I'm sure so many of you know. So nice to see everybody that showed up. It's a really great turnout for 3 o'clock on a Thursday. Absolutely wonderful to see everybody. Hello, everybody in Twitch land. It's wonderful to have you guys here too. We have a lot of really exciting things to talk about here. We have answers to all your questions. And if we, for some reason, don't get to answer every question that was posted in the product meetup channel, those questions have been answered. So I will post the responses if we don't get to read them out loud today. I'm not going to go and introduce everybody here on stage or have them introduce themselves because that would be the entire meeting probably. So we are going to, but I am going to go ahead and just pass it off to Daisy, who has an excellent slideshow. It's probably going to answer a lot of the questions you guys already have. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass that over to Daisy.
Well, the first thing that I'm happy to announce you guys is that we're gonna have some familiar names on board. Like most of you probably know him. It's Phillips Rosedale. He's going to he joins us weekly to advise and consult. So that's good news. Most of you also know Cerberus, he's also joining our team. You know him from the excellent worlds he already create, like from Roddenberry and 2077. He joined our creative team. You probably also know Ameler. He is also joined as our team as in our engineering team, and he will also be leading our avatar efforts to make it better.
He's the genius behind all the sensors rendering, by the way.
He also made this giraffe avatar.
Are the slides supposed to be working?
Oh, hair.
Oh, good.
Yeah, go.
Not the genius behind the rendering.
No, he's coming. He's coming. You're way ahead. People who are always been in Second Life know Truth Harks. I'm sure they all know him. He's strengthening our creative team soon. He's famous for his hair. Then Birdman. Birdman is actually a legend by himself. He almost created the whole rendering engine from Sansa. And he's already helping us with advice how things work behind the scenes, and he will be coming back in January to help us get to the next level. And he's got a lot of good things coming in soon with a level of detail, also mirrors, all those things you guys were talking about. He says he can provide them, so that's going to be epic. Then we got some more new names. We got Splash, he's the VP of Live Entertainment. We got Jesus, he's a C++ engineer. Felipe is a C++ engineer. Jack, he's started yesterday, he's a C++ engineer. We got Mario as a project manager. Shivan is a full stack tech lead. And Natalie is a UI UX designer. And Dana is an HR person. So she's not here, I believe, at this point, but she also started yesterday. Did I forget anybody? I heard somebody say something. Okay. So here are the solved bugs and problems so far. The 11th and the 12th Intel generation bug we solved. We updated the Chromium from 84 to 105. The dreadful audio bug is fixed. The daylight saving time bug is fixed. The starting world contains now the lookbook now, so that you can start in the lookbook instead of in home or in the home world. Seeing tongue in first person is solved, and the next things will be rolled out soon. We removed Twitch and Steam integration and registration. It doesn't mean that we are not using them anymore, but it was broke, so we are removing it and we will implement it in another way if we continue with Steam and Twitch. 2 fixes for the client crash in edit mode have been fixed. New users teleport to Social Hub. Now it's still Nexus if new users come in. Head deformation when holding a glow stick, maximum grab distance for VR, a cluttered CPU header. It's something that is more in the code, but it needed to be fixed. It had to be done. UI scaling for larger resolutions. I myself cannot wait for that with my 4K screen. And the backpack turkey and snowballs are coming back for this season. Stuff we are working on now. Maybe Ninki can explain that better.
Just turn my microphone off. Yep, I can. Okay then. Currently in the pipeline, we have basically VR fixes. There's UI fixes, and shall I just go through the list?
Sure.
Okay. So we have been investigating the issues with the glitchy inverse kinematics on both full body tracking and regular tracking. I'm sure you all know the ones I mean, where you kind of sit down and then you fold up like an IKEA flat pack. Yes, Jesus has been working on fixing the input quirks, such as the incredibly frustrating VR chat interface, you know, where you have to press a button, then count to 3, and then press your next button, or it all goes wrong. So hopefully that should become a lot more responsive and feel a lot more natural, because I know me for sure, every time I wanted to use the chat box in VR, I'd take my headset off, walk to the next room, and just use my keyboard. Haptics, haptics. We will definitely have more haptics. Hand jitteriness. Yeah, there's an issue that particularly affects users of inside-out headsets such as WMR and Oculus, where our hands and pointers, the sensor tracking becomes very jittery at times. We are looking at implementing a filter for that. So for Oculus users, sensor tracking should be as smooth as it is in native Oculus applications. With a tech inclined among you, that basically involves Kalman filters and the drill. The LG project, as far as I'm aware, is progressing nicely. When I was hanging out in the welcome area earlier, I saw the LG avatar log in and out a couple of times. It's very cute. Cutest robots. Tilia, I don't know much about because that's outside of my scope. We will be looking again at basically the ambassador program, the helpers, what they'll be doing, and I think actually that's in a later slide for where that will tie in. We have actually, as I mentioned at the last product meeting, we were looking into rendering improvements. I'd like to say that I'm still looking into rendering improvements, specifically dual core batching and instant rendering, which I've been doing a lot of research since then. I have a solid plan, so that just basically needs to happen. And our VR compatibility issues. As some of you know, we have issues supporting some of the WMR headsets, such as the G2 The Pimax is just a disaster, and actually I think there's some index issues as well. That is on the project tracker, and I believe that's scheduled for those fixes to go in one of the more sooner coming updates. On the longer term, I'd really like to look into adding OpenXR support to the engine, and that will fix a lot of the friction logging in with, and a lot of the minor issues with using Oculus headsets, as they are now standardizing around OpenXR, and it'll also fix some of the remaining WMR compatibilities that aren't fixed by the previous thing, because that also has its own OpenXR runtime support built in, and both of those will also considerably increase performance on the CPU side for both Oculus and WMR users as well. So even if you're not affected, basically you'll receive some more frames for your trouble. We have been in discussion for improvements to the edit system. So I believe the plan is for abstracting the edit system outside of the game client, providing a web interface so that people can use the web interface to build scenes, and hopefully eventually build scenes collaboratively, so you won't just be like having one person at a time, and teams will be able to work together. And hopefully as a web-based approach we can support more plugins and maybe allow people to produce their own tool chains and optimizations for it, which would be a really nice thing in the future, as our edit system, while it's easy to use, unfortunately does fall flat on a lot of ways. So it would be really great to see that in the future take place. And more rendering things such as mirrors already mentioned, which Birdman can sort out for us. We have had discussions internally about implementing reflection probes, and that will also allow things such as planar reflections and things, and cube map reflections. I don't know if it's on the drawing board to actually do this, but it's a topic of debate and it's in consideration. But that would be a lot of work, so it depends how much the community really wants that, I guess. But I'd like to see it. And we're looking at improvements to the codecs as well, and various other UI improvements, and releasing on Xbox is on this list, and I didn't even know about that one. That would be really exciting though, actually, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking in
Okay,
that as well.
Okay, I'm done for that. Does anybody have any questions out of that they'd like to know more about? I could answer quickly.
Please write in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, even though my VR controller's in the wrong hands, that's why it's not working.
Maybe we'll, if people write those in chat, we can pick them up later, Ninky, and we just can continue at this point.
Yeah, okay then.
So sneak peeks coming soon. Some things are already a little bit touched here and there. New avatars and looks for beginners will be coming soon in the new carousel. New avatar skins for better lifelike skins will soon be implemented for default avatars. We will have a new starters world that we are working on. So we first had Nexus, we're now using the social hub, and now we're going to give you another world to start in, and we're very enthusiastic what we're doing at this point. I think you're gonna like it. The improved roadmap will be shared soon enough. We did that in the beginning in Slack, but we are looking into a better software that we can do it publicly. Ads on a local screen, local loading screen will probably be implemented, and that's one of the ways to help us to make you get a lower commission rate. On the long term, we will get on Sansa. Sansa will get on LG smart TVs, about 170 million LG TVs coming next year. We will be an app there. Sansa plugins will be used for making emulators. You can probably, people who know emulators, you can use that for old games. But we have a way to with our Sansa plugins for emulators with pets, NPCs, and more coming next year. Creator tools will be open source under AGPL 4.3. I'm not sure. Maybe Nick, maybe you can explain it better.
So AGPL version 3 just means you could do whatever you want with it. So you could sell it, you could compete with us, you could do. There's no restrictions on it other than you have to release the source code for it. So you have to give it back to the community.
And the Sansa core?
The Sansa core probably won't be AGPL 3, but parts of it will be.
Okay, and what we're also working on is Sansa mocap, and that will mean that you can use your webcam to move your avatar, full body and face. It says with a VR set, but it should be without. That's a minor error from my side. Sorry about that. So it's great because you can do them much more. First of all, you don't have to have a VR set to move around like a real avatar. You can dance and stuff like that, but you can also create it for events for artists and such. So it will become more lifelike. And this is one that I would love to address with Splash. Splash, if you can continue here.
Hey everyone. Some of you may remember me as Ollie or Pansensory from Lost Horizon and Splendor XR days. I took the liberty of writing up this the 8.8s, which is we wanted to have sort of a set of principles that we as a company believe in and that we request our community members and creators to believe in, because as I say here, the culture we project is the culture we invite. And because we are a social platform and we want to create this place that is a positive and mutually beneficial place for creators and for social interactions. So we have these 8 principles. Each of them is a word that ends in 8. And if you want to jump to the next slide, Daisy, I will. So the first is accommodate, and this is sort of core to everything. It's our belief in inclusivity and accessibility. We welcome and respect everyone except for those who refuse to welcome and respect others. 2 is appreciate. We practice gratitude. We recognize that our success is made possible by luck and by the efforts of others as much as it is by our own efforts, and so we want to show appreciation. Stimulate, because we exist to offer people meaningful and impactful experiences, and we want to encourage all of our creators, community of creators, to be thinking about it in the same way, to make all of the experiences that you create and the assets that you create stimulating, exciting, interesting, intriguing, rewarding people's curiosity. Educate, because we believe that a rising tide lifts all boats, and that we all do well when everyone does well. So we encourage you to always be learning and always be teaching. Next is collaborate, because the things that people do together are so much more meaningful than the things that people do on their own. And when we work together, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Innovate, because we already know what happens when you do things the same way they've always been done. So let's use the sandbox of Sansa as an opportunity to try new ways of doing things. Iterate, and is, I'm sure you understand that digital creations are not set in stone. They're living things that can and should continually be improved and optimized as we learn, as we innovate, as we are inspired by other people's efforts and other people's creations. We can revisit our own and make them better. That's certainly what we're trying to do with Sanzar as a platform, and this is what we want to encourage our community of creators to do as well. And finally, mitigate, because we live in a world where a lot of things aren't set up with these kind of principles in place. There's a lot of systemic bias, and there's a lot of inequality, and we believe that it's our job not just to project and to be sort of a model of good citizenship, but also to actively work to counteract those systemic biases where we see them, and to do what we can to make the world better.
Yeah, right. So we got new rules and new chances. All laws are alive and could be changed at any moment, and all laws are public. Digital, easy to search, easy to read, and easy to find. All the laws are subject to change request by anyone on earth. Just make a GitHub pull request, because you will see they are on GitHub, those rules. All change requests are considered. Accepting a pull request makes it law. No more pomp and circumstances, no ambiguity, just simple effective regulation. All previous ban will be unbanned. Indeed, everybody will get a second chance. All violations will be judged and ruled over in-world in Sanzar publicly. So, in the past, normally if somebody came with us with a report that we had a bad actor, then we were provided proof and we were acting on that. We never could address about that in world what was happening. We are changing that. There is coming a sort of court in worlds. So if somebody is being a bad actor and we get proof, that person can at that point defend himself in public court in Sanzar. And here you can see where you can find them. Now don't be alarmed because you see still Wookiee technologies in our GitHub URL. It's just because we didn't change that yet, because it will break certain kind of scripts, and we are still working in certain kind of things, and that is not our main priority. So don't think that Wookiee technologies is still on board. Nick, maybe you can explain this, how this works.
Sure. So we're modeling this after Washington, D.C., the municipality of Washington, D.C. in America. I did some work with Temple University where all their municipal laws are also on GitHub. And if the municipal council approves a pull request, it becomes law at that moment. So if you get pulled over and you don't agree with what the officer is doing, or you don't agree with the parking laws or something, you can make a pull request, and if it gets approved before you get that ticket is legally invalid. It's super cool, and they've been doing this for about 3 years now. So we know the model works. So it works for DC. DC has the most complex municipal laws in America. So if it works for them, it should work for us. So we basically have two files. They're two Markdown files. If you don't know Markdown, it's just like a simplified version of HTML. Chapter 1 is under 1-conduct. That's basically the 8/8 right now. That's what we expect every person in Sanzar to follow. You could do anything as long as you follow those general terms. And then Chapter 2, which is enforcement, that's what moderators have to follow. And that's a little bit longer. That's a couple of pages. If they break those rules, if you're getting banned or some sort of enforcement action against you, and they're not following the rules, just cite what they did, and they'll have to stop. You could override what they did. If what they did, follows the rules, and you still don't like it, you could just make a pull request and just cite your argument of, I don't think this is fair. I would like this changed to this. Here's my reasoning. People will have a conversation in GitHub, and it'll be public. You could participate in it. You could ask your friends to help push your argument ahead. And it also includes some logic raisers to help you, to help the moderators and to help you win your arguments and sort of break down whatever the situation is into smaller and smaller components, so that you could really reason through things better. And you're welcome to add your own. If that pull request gets accepted, that law gets changed. Every time someone does have an enforcement action put against them, we'll cite which rule they violated. So we'll say 2-1-7 or 2.1.7, and therefore, if someone makes a PR and changes that rule, whatever happened to them, like if they got banned for 2 weeks and that pull request goes through, that will be flagged for review. And if what they did no longer meets that criteria, they'll automatically be unbanned. That's the general idea.
Yeah, we thought about this to make sure that everybody feels that we're transparent, and if anybody gets banned or perma-banned or whatever, that you know as well why. And it is also, we also know from previous tests that it also works preventive, that people, since it's now going to be public, that they will behave better. So, and we want our community to be harmonious and feel that everybody is protected. So we hope that this is going to be a better way to deal with this. So if there are still many people who are banned at this point, they can come forward to Wally and send him a ticket, and we will make sure you will get unbanned. So that being said, that was our presentation for now. I think it's time for some questions. Wally, take it away.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. We can start. I've gotten a lot of stuff from you guys through the product meeting channel. So we're gonna go ahead and just start at the top here. If I can get to the top. My document. Okay, the first one is from the Nick, who asks who's dealing with or when is documentation getting some love for new folks joining. The current wiki and forum is very lacking, broken and outdated, very little in the way of official tutorials for the system, like importing and dealing with avatars, simple scripts and items, etc. The frustration of this puts in new people spending time bringing items here. And yeah, we're very well aware of that. And I don't know if Daisy, if you wanted to address that, you had something written down for it.
Yeah, so we're looking into a better solution that helps us keep better track of current documents. We are very painfully aware documents are not up to date and we are still spread thin, and only a few of us are really known how certain things work. So we are definitely looking into a solution to address that. One of the things Wally at the moment is doing is learning to build with the community, and since that's new for him, he will also discover how it works and how to do things better. So we will try to work that also into our documents.
And just to piggyback on that as well, we're looking into like a new. Right now, all of our documentation is via Zendesk's knowledge base, and the issue with Zendesk knowledge base is we can't have multiple people editing it at the same time. There's only like a certain number of seats available, and right now it's basically just me who's able to go in there and edit it, which is an astronomical amount of work. It'd literally be all I would do was edit those documents. So we're looking into an option that allows multiple editors, so that we can address those quicker and more efficiently. And that's actually something we're experimenting with different platforms for the knowledge base, just to make it better. That's definitely on the list. And next up here, also from the Nick, who's working on what? We've seen many new additions to the team, Sansar tags, what do they do? I think we kind of addressed this already. We're going to have everybody in Discord have their roles displayed, right? So.
Yeah, we will have that will make better for everybody to understand who's doing what. So at this point, there's only a Sansar team in Discord, but we will divide those team also in engineers and creative and support, etc. That you know everybody is doing what. And you can always try to address people in Sansar or in Discord when they are around. But some people we give our employees the freedom if they want to be fully immersed or heads down. Some people like to be heads down more in the work, and some like to be also being immersed in the community. And you will get to know them soon enough because they'll all react in Discord, and you can then of course ask your questions to them, and as you then see which roles they are, that you also know who to address.
Yeah, and next up is from Hammond Rai, who asked, is it possible to institute a beta testing program for fixes and new features?
We're also working on that. We're setting up a program at the moment, and we will start with a few people who are already familiar with Sansar, and if things go well, we might expand.
All right, and this one is from Marchie, who asks, are there plans to improve the creator's pipelines in Sansar? Especially interested if there will be an effort to create tools outside of the engines as well, like Blender add-ons, etc.
That's a great question for Nick.
Can you repeat that question? Sorry.
Yeah, it was, are there plans to improve the creator's pipelines in Sansar? Especially interested if there will be an effort to create tools outside of the engine as well, like Blender add-ons, etc.
Ah, yes. I've been trying not to let the cat out of the bag too much about this. So, yeah, there's about 12 creator tools that we're going to release. The coolest one is probably the World Editor, but all the creator tools in general are being shifted to the web, and we're going to open source them all. You might have seen that in the other slide, that they're going to be GPL3. We're going to build some base version of them, and then hopefully turn it over to the community to maintain. But yeah, everything will be on the web.
Yeah, good news there. All right, and next up is from GritCorp, who asks, when would there be a published development roadmap and potential timelines?
We definitely want to share a roadmap with you again. We did that in the beginning, but of course things change. We are looking into how we want to do it now, either by software we use or just like in Discord like last time. It's not that we are secretive about it, we're just looking at the best way to share it with you guys.
All right, and next is from BT Unit, who says they would love to see the option to do horizon adjust, like implemented in VC. So you can use Sansar in VR while laying down on a couch or a bed. They're totally aware. They're walking around. It'll turn most people green from nausea. However, there's a lot of people that don't have that problem, or people that do not have any choice because they're bowed laying down with medical conditions, things like that. And there's no option to change the horizon in Steam. So do we have any plans for that?
We haven't looked in that, but in our Discord we now have a forum where you can suggest features like this. Please add requests like this there so we can discuss it and scope it and see what exactly you want. So we have a ClickUp system program where we actively are adding new stuff you guys are suggesting in our Discord forum features. So please add it there and we'll continue it there.
All right, and this next one is from Anu, and this one's going to come up, and this is the big elephant in the room. So he writes, I think the big elephant in the room would be financials. Let's talk financials, taxes on creators. For a platform development, I think that discussion is crucial as to clarify the direction of Sansar, and at the same time being honest with the creating community. There's no reason to beat around the bush about it. So basically, I assume this is mostly talking about commission rates.
Do you want to answer, Nick?
The commission rates? Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I'm happy to take that one. So we're just now getting our Telia account switched over. Debbie, so Jason can tell you more about that. But right after we get our account switched over, we'll have the capability to set our own commission rate. That's the way it's been explained to me. Is that sort of the way it's been explained to you, Daisy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're also looking at other ways to make sure that we can have more space. So we, like I said, in our sheets, in the slides, is that we will also put ads on our loading page. So so that we also have more space and more to lower the commission.
All right, and there you go. So, the long story short, changes incoming on that one pretty quick.
Yeah.
And we'll have a lot more to say about it in the future, I'm sure. This one from Future Extreme. It would be practical for the account owner to be able to change their own email address rather than having me do it, and I completely agree. This is something that we're looking into.
We are working on separating our backend from Telia. Changing your account email as well as tons of other things will be introduced early next year.
That's completely a Telia thing.
Yep.
Which was locking us out of it. So once we're free from them, we'll have a lot more versatility and what functionality we can just sort of pass over to you guys to let you do it yourselves. All right, and this is from Arag VR. When can we expect a quality water system in Sansar? Also, when can we expect a HUD system?
Nick, can you address that?
The HUD system is going to come with the plugin system, which will be early next year, and the water system is probably going to be Birdman.
Yeah. So we're working on that.
Yep. All right, and next up is from Retro Metallic, who asks, will there be a future, will there in the future still be an option to create more, basically, or we're going to have more dynamic PayPal involvement in Sansar? There's really a need amongst creators to cash out fast, but also pay other Sansorians via PayPal, construction, tipping, ATM machines, etc. He says, I do realize it depends on Tilia's policy in Sansar and all that kind of stuff. But since we're moving away from Tilia, I think that the PayPal thing might be addressed sooner rather than later. But I don't know who wants to address whether or not we'll have PayPal functionality anytime soon.
I think Nick can address this best.
Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
Do we have any plans for like PayPal integration functionality, etc.?
Long term, yes. But the short term, we're sticking with Telia. I think is that right, Chance?
Yeah. So basically, whenever we put our new Telia account in place, we're probably with Telia for, I don't know, at least a year. And the reason for that is we've got so many things on the roadmap. Until Telia works, and it's really difficult to find a payment processor for metaverse applications because there's people from all over the world in this room. So having different payment methods, that's ultimately the goal. But it's just been difficult to get those integrated, and so for now, Telia seems to be the best way to go.
All right, and next one. This one's been around for a while. Can the in-world shop searches be persistent? For example, if I search trees, you get a whole bunch, but when you click back or click a redo, it sends you back to the home page. And you have to redo the entire search again rather than like a web page where you go back and it sends you back one page. Ours just resets completely and sends you back to the home page. It's extremely annoying.
Yeah, that sounds like a usability bug. Feel free to report such things in Discord Bugs channel, and we will certainly will look into that.
Thank you, Dr. Fran, for that question, by the way. And this next one is from Callie Bean. Are there plans to be able to create basic building blocks in Sansar itself? Are there plans to implement the ability to change the shape of an object on a single axis versus every axis at once? To encourage more builders, have you thought about having a monthly subscription for builders, let's say $15.99 a month, where those accounts will get 70% of the profit of an item sold, and Sansar keeps 30%? I can honestly say it wouldn't stop me from building, but I know a lot of people know that, I know that from a builder from a community in Second Life that refused to come here because of the commission rate. Again, yeah, the commission rate we've talked about, but as far as the Axis stuff, Nick, I think you had something for all this?
For the access stuff?
Yeah, you had a response written out for this one.
Would you mind answering that? I'm trying to help someone with an emergency right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
That's something we can totally look into. In fact, I was working on it very the other night and looking into that exactly
Yeah, what we got Nick had the official answer for is we're actually going to build a web-based world editor. What is more, we're open sourcing it under the AGPL4 version 3 license, meaning you will have access to the complete and entire source code of a working editor. The AGPL V3 means that you can do anything with the source code, even resell it or make a commercial product out of it, or use it in a competing product, as long as you also keep providing the source code of what you made back to the community. We're hoping members of the community help us build features like shape-changing objects and other cool things. We are also hoping people adopt our world editor for other metaverses, because the bigger the contributing community, the more features we all get. We are in early talks with other metaverses to adopt our editor. So far, VR Space has agreed to collaborate and possibly adopt our editor in the future, meaning if you build a world in VR Space, our open source world editor will work for those worlds too. We expect to get more and more adoption across the community as the editor becomes more mature. As words spreads, we open as word spreads, we open sourced our work. We joined the Open Metaverse I'm sorry, I'm not group. Yeah, thank you. The Metaverse Standards Forum, the Web GPU Working Group, and other working on securing a position within the Kronos Group so that we can produce a universal Metaverse editor that the world can extend and enjoy for decades. So that's the official answer from Nick.
What answer that was, all right. This one is from Cardino. And they ask, would it be possible to increase the amount of individual clothing and accessories that you can wear? Dressing up your avatar seems like a big draw to most people in social VR platforms. I could not agree more. At the moment, it's hard to equip something like a watch, jewelry, a mask, capes, backpacks, shirts, pants, shoes, and the like.
Yeah, our main problem is the count of triangles. They will run up drastically. Please understand that we have to choose between two evils. If we give you more, you will have to learn to live with lag, since the most heaviest in the scenes are avatars. And the more avatars, the more bandwidth and resources you will need to render on your end. But when we have Birdman back, we will look into a lot and other ideas to see if there is a solution for this, because we understand we all want to be pretty and we all want to make sure that we have a unique style. So we do understand. I'm the same. So yeah, we hear you.
All right. And next one from Future Extreme. He writes, I know this has been brought up before, but I'm still going to ask because I believe it would be an attractive feature and also important thinking for competing VR platforms and future demands for the users. And the question is, will you be working to find a solution to create a weather system? Sliders to adjust clouds, speeds, looks, color, density, etc. Sunrises from dawn, day to night, the duration of it. It makes the experience so much more alive when you can set your world to automatically change between day and night or have a fixed certain time of day.
Yeah, we did talk to that internally. I'm not sure if Fasai is here. I believe he's not. But
I am.
Please tell.
Sorry, I was writing the response. Could you repeat the question?
We were talking about having weather inside the sensor, sun, such things. We've talked about it.
Yeah. So we're looking into ways to make our experiences more dynamic. So, for example, dynamic skies, dynamic lighting, day and night changes. Weather is a big project, but it also could be done. It will require several other components to be done first. For example, worldwide wind simulation that would later interact with other interactive stuff in the world. So, for example, water should actually interact with the wind, plants should interact with the wind. So all that stuff would be tied together. As for the weather effects, so like fog, rain, snow, those would rely on particles, and particles are not yet implemented, but again, we're thinking on it, and we definitely want to have particles in sensor, and we will have particles at some point. We just want to make them work performantly enough.
Your phone is full.
Yeah, and it will probably also be a big help when Birdman is back on board. He can probably help us with that as well.
Definitely.
All right. Moving on, this next question is from VJ, who asks, will Sansar's magic lure the necessary users, additional users, and when and how? And from a user's perspective, what is the magic of Sansar really like for our team?
I think we're very ambitious and we're working on several things. And you heard a lot of good news today already, what we're working on. Like being on 70 million LG televisions, working on creator tools in the browser, Mocam, outsourcing core creator tools, sensor plugins. There's so many things that we have in our pipeline, and I think that's going to be one of the things that's makes us successful, because we are actually doing things that others aren't. So, and we have the best rendering engine, and the rendering engine engineers coming back. So many good things, so many wonderful things happening behind the scenes. Yeah, I don't think there's nothing that can go wrong in that part.
And let me just add a little bit more to that. So I think the thing that's held Sansar back for the last however many years is the fact that you can only play Sansar on a gaming computer, right? So we're all on gaming computers now, I'm assuming. But what we're doing with LG is kind of the first step. But what we're really doing is improving distribution across a ton of platforms. And as part of what we did with LG, we figured out a streaming solution. So that same streaming solution that we're using to sort of broadcast on 170 million LG televisions, we can use that same streaming solution for a browser-based Sansar interface on a Mac. We could be on phones. We could be on tablets. I mean, this really opens up a ton of possibilities for us. And, you know, next year, once Birdman starts with us in full, we're going to be migrating to the Xbox. According to Birdman, the rendering engine is ready to go today to switch over to Xbox. So we're going to start laying the groundwork for that. But, you know, the goal is by kind of middle of next year to be on every platform imaginable. And that's really where Roblox has killed it, right? I mean, I know Roblox isn't Sansar, but you know, they're on every device. I mean, they're on Xbox, PlayStation, the web, your phone, you name it. I mean, you can be on Roblox, and that's our biggest goal long term.
All right, cool. Very exciting. The next one was asked by Portia and Nick almost simultaneously. What was the Dubai thing about, and what did it mean for Sansar?
That's probably a question, yeah.
Yeah, the Dubai thing was really, really cool, and the way it all happened was we went to the World Metaverse Conference in Dubai. There was a pitch competition. I didn't really even know it was a competition. I just thought we were explaining to the 500 people in the audience about Sansar's technology, and then somebody told me 15 minutes before we got on the stage that it's a competition. So we won the competition, and it was really, really cool because the MC asked the people in the audience, you know, who do you think should win? And like, I swear, like 30 or 40 people started yelling Sansar. So that was really cool to see. And so we won the World Metaverse Conference pitch competition, and we've got a lot of good opportunities out of that. Potentially, I just got a call this morning. Potentially, the Dubai Ministry of Health or something wants to build an experience within Sansar. So it's really led to a lot of opportunities for folks that want to build their experience or their world within Sansar, which is really cool to see.
Very cool. All right. Next one, also from the Nick. Kind of more of a, I think this one's more of like an overall, a broad view of Sansar, but he asked, what is the platform's direction? Are you focusing on making scenes for clients? Are you heading towards the event-based platform like before? Are you focusing on creating the platform itself for others to use tools to do these things? What's the general direction?
Yeah, I'll jump in and take that one. So we're 100% focused on, I think moving a lot of our tools to the web is going to be helpful, and that's a priority. You know, we're focused on giving creators the tools they need to continue to build amazing Sansar experiences. And, a lot of the things we're doing with our events platform, particularly through LG, are really helping to accelerate that a little bit. But yeah, I don't want anybody here thinking that we're like going all in on events and we're gonna sort of turn a blind eye to the creator community, because that's not the intent at all. I think a lot of the work we're doing with LG will do nothing but help the tools that are available to you guys.
Yeah, and let me just add to that. I think we see Sansar as having the potential to foster an entire sort of parallel talent and content ecosystem, the way that YouTube and Instagram and TikTok have these whole talent and content ecosystems. That's kind of partly what we envisage Sansar being, and we really want to do what we can to support all of you in building that, and also to make sure that you get the exposure that you need to the worldwide market, or to the worldwide audience, to make it worth your while doing all of that amazing work that you're all doing in our platform.
All right, very cool. The next one, will collaborative building ever become a thing? It's crazy how it's not, and it could attract a lot of people to build in teams. So, Nick, I think that's probably up your alley.
Yeah, well, I know Nick is busy, so let us take it for him. That's something that we were actually talking about 2 days ago. But when we're going to implement the builder into the web browser, that's something that we will work out as well. So as soon as we get the tools in the web browser, we will be able to give people collaborative building.
So, collaborative building coming soon.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is from Mocap Dancer, who asks they would like to implement their couple/trio and group dance moves. It would be great. It would be great for user socialization. So, is there a documented solution for creating group animations set in synchronicity?
Sadly, no, we don't have that yet, and I don't think we have it working scripting-wise yet. But please, in Discord with our feature forum, add it, and we will look into it.
I can jump on that. Also, like how you work around it, right? Like currently, the solution to solve it is like you have a collision object that hits like those avatars all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you get a trigger to trigger animations, and there are actually objects in the store that allow you to do that. And if you have more questions, you can contact me directly.
They're gonna do that. It will be working with a duo, so that they can dance like two people with the same animation, so it's in sync. Definitely.
Yeah, I know what Bagnar is talking about. There's I think it's the Rave Cave that has it, where if you stand in a place long enough, and everybody stands in that same place long enough, and the trigger is the same animation for everybody, and you all start dancing at the same time in the same animation. It's really cool. So that's the workaround, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
There, Bagnar, yeah.
Maybe I was reading ahead, because he's also talking about he went in depth with two avatars interacting, hugs, dance, etc. So I don't think we can have that it works simultaneously. Do we have that?
Yeah, I don't think.
Not that I'm aware.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why I was a bit ahead. So,
but it is worth pointing out that
yes,
a number of these features that the community are asking for are also features that some of the big name performers that we're talking to are going to require. So, you're not the only ones that are asking for those features, and some of these partners that we're going to be working with will have the budget to help us help subsidize us doing some of these extra feature developments. So,
very, very cool.
All right, and then next up is from Louv Anime. Sorry if I said your name wrong. What is the roadmap for rivaling Unreal engines, Nanite and Lumen, etc.? Our future relies on absolutely standing out and holding our own against the many social platforms that will arise using Unreal 5 as their engine. Our proud boast for having the best-looking social VR platform is now up against the clock as VR is starting to find stability on Unreal. We will need to have a super high poly objects and textures going forward, and lots of that in our worlds if we are to be able to compete. Firm commitment to doing this ASAP would really boost confidence to know there's a priority on the roadmap.
Let me take that one, and then Daisy and whomever else can jump in. So I had the same exact conversation with Birdman about 2 or 3 weeks ago when we got a hold of each other and he decided to join the team. And I'm not exactly sure what's going to go into it, but his comment to me was that once he starts, he thinks he can have us beyond UE5 within 4 to 5 months. So, we talked about Nanite, we talked about LODs, we talked about our visual occlusion software that we used, and he's very confident that we can be beyond UE5 and that kind of 4 to 5 month time frame.
Yeah, that's right. I call him a render god. He does things that you cannot help anybody possible. He thinks about putting things in our engine that comes close to Nanite or will even be better. So I think, and he's going to look at the level of detail, all those things. So I'm completely, I trust that he's going to bring us to the next level. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for Birdman to start.
No, yeah.
It's so great. This one is from Anu. Will we get new reference avatars that are not broken and Blender optimized that have clean topology? Whoever wants to take this one, just jump right in.
That's the plan. That's definitely the plan.
Yeah, maybe
That's
you
what
can
Cerb's
answer.
been working on.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, so we get Cerberus on the case. That's really good news. And next one coming up is from Shalamakai. He says, can we add a one-time password to make logging in VR easier? Which is a great question.
Great one to add to our features in Discord so that we can look into that. Definitely.
Yeah, I'll tentatively say that's an awesome idea. And that's something that we can look into because I'm painfully aware of how annoying it is to log in VR, and I share your sympathy for that one. This one, and I'm glad we got to circle.
So Wally, hold on. So just to say a little bit more about that. So we're going to look at we're looking at the entire user interface and user experience with Sansar. So, I think you're going to see some improvements. That's a great suggestion. I mean, we have a fantastic UI UX engineer on board now. So I think you're going to see some pretty dramatic, awesome changes with, the logon process, the onboarding process over the next few months.
Brilliant. All right. Now we're going to circle back to the in-world court system here because we have 2 questions here, and I think this does need a little bit more clarity. And so Ashiaki, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, Ra and Henry both sort of brought up kind of the same idea, which is more about how the functionality of the court system is going to work. Are we going to have in-game lawyers, in-game judges? Who are going to be the judges? What is the actual logistics behind, when a person, breaks the rules and breaks the laws, and how are they going to be dealt with? Who's going to be the judges? Is it going to be the community? Is it going to be us? How is that actually going to play out?
Nick, yeah.
I came back.
Okay.
So in general, that's for the community to decide. We have some moderators and helpers right now, but if you guys want something different, just make a pull request. If the conduct chapter or the enforcement chapter they're live. So if you make a pull request and the community supports it, that will be how we do things. So if you guys want lawyers, if you guys want public law offices and stuff, that sounds weird to me, but if that's what you guys want, that's what we'll do. If you guys want something more asynchronous where people could just talk it out in Discord or in some other official place, that's fine too. It's whatever you guys decide.
And to circle back on another thing that I saw in chat as we were scrolling through, someone had brought up, and I think it was Ashiaki Ra again, where if a person does break a rule, we put up a pull request that could, what's to stop them from getting all their friends to just basically vote them out of jail?
So what would stop them is the existing rules. So you can't. Well, actually, I guess there is some ambiguity there. I was going to say the existing rules can prevent some for a new rule, but there isn't a lot of existing rules. So if something like that happens and the community doesn't like it, I doubt that there would be enough people to override the whole Sansar community. But we can come up with a voting system, like a system of your peers. We can adopt any country's standards for managing this. But that is an issue, and that's something that we should probably work out as a team.
Yeah, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the entire idea of this is just to shed light on the rules and to keep people honest and to make sure that you as a community know what's going on and have a say in who you do and do not want around, and to be able to help each other, keep each other accountable. But that doesn't mean that someone like Mr. BTFO or Lavender can just come in and just start screaming racism, and we're going to have a court about it. No. I mean, they'll just get banned immediately. Like, that's still going to happen. But for, other conflicts and things like that, we wanted to give you guys the opportunity to have a say in it. This is your world, and we want you guys to have a little bit more control and say and all that kind of stuff in it. So that's the point of implementing all of this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and no one's also going to be put in front of, like, if you guys do decide a jury of your peers or something, no one's going to be put in front of that situation if they don't violate the conduct rules, the 8/8s, and who dislikes any of that stuff? That's pretty like, paradise of humanity type stuff.
Okay, seems that we went to all the questions. Go ahead, Ollie.
Yeah, I was just going to say the 8/8 boils down really to one phrase: "Don't be a dick," and I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Living a motto in life.
Yeah, I think mainly
That's number 9.
And I think mainly the rule system is there so that if you are having a bad day and you are a dick, there's a chance for redemption. You just won't get banned, and then who do you talk to? Who do you how do you fix that? You had a bad day and you're mean to someone, and now you're kicked out of all your stuff. We want there to be a system that could bring you back without we don't want to bottleneck or something to prevent that from happening.
Definitely.
Good. All right.
Multiple accounts. I just wanted to throw that in there. Multiple accounts.
If we should stop that people have multiple accounts, or?
Well, I think the idea is which is an issue we've seen in the past, where I would ban someone and they just can sign up with a new email in 10 seconds. And how are we going to address that moving forward?
Well, first of all, you think about the fact that somebody's getting permanent banned, right? We hope it will not happen that way. And I don't think that's going to be a problem. If somebody's will be permanent banned, we are working on certain kind of things like that we have hardware recognition, so that if somebody is banned, he's banned, so that he cannot come even back with another account.
Yeah, and Philip mentioned in one of our previous meetings some ideas that head towards this, like social worth. If you build up your character and that character has a bunch of worth, you won't necessarily want to switch avatars. And switching out, like having 5 accounts is not in itself wrong. What if someone is transgender and they want to pretend to be the opposite sex? Should we prevent them from doing that? That's probably not healthy. To stop someone from doing something like that. There's no reason why someone shouldn't have multiple accounts unless they're trying to circumvent things. If they circumvent things in one area and then they build another account just so that they can get a chance at redemption, I think that's the alternative to what we're trying to give them an option to do, to redeem themselves.
Right.
For the whole community.
Stephanie, you wanted to bring all those good people to Bubble Mania to test it out. Do you think it's time?
Oh, that was not meant for this meeting, actually.
Oh, okay.
That was for internal, just because we had to make some decisions.
Sorry about
Never
that.
mind. Sorry, guys.
And I didn't say that.
It's in scary waters. You started by picking up a gun. I mean, we can do it. I mean, nothing prevents us from doing so.
Yeah, but if you think it's a good idea, why not? There's a
Well, we will
good crowd.
break it if we are that many. But that's cool.
Yeah, we'll learn from it.
I make a point.
All right, thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you Twitch for showing up. We really appreciate you guys' feedback. If you have anything to add or any more questions, that product meetup channel is going to remain open, and we'll be gathering them for next time. Or feel free to PM pretty much any of us with your questions, and we're always happy to help.
Will this be up anywhere, a recording of this?
Of course.
Okay.
I will post it on. I will also post it on YouTube.
Thanks for the answer.
Thanks, that was a really good product meeting. Thank you.
It really was. Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Thank you all.
Hey. Yeah, I think that all that legal stuff is just overcomplicating a very easy solution. Just block them. So much easier.